Angels return to their home sweet home of Anaheim Stadium, a ballpark that has seen them win 37 of their 59 games here. Tonight, the Angels begin a 4-game series with the world champion New York Yankees. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physioc. This, of course, is Sparky Anderson. The Angels are returning from a very difficult 2-5 road trip, including their last 3 games. They lost by 1 run to the Baltimore Orioles, so who else would a skipper like Terry Collins want to send to the hill to try and stop the bleeding in a red-hot Chuck Finley?
3 tough losses, too. You know, I mean, they were just ordinary losses, 3 one-run losses, and now to be able to have, when you go through that, to have your ace pitching for you, that's the thing you really look forward to.
He's really back on top with the fastball and the curveball, and he must be sharp because Chuck Finley has to face one of the top offenses in the game. In the New York Yankees, the defending world champions, they've got a monster first baseman in Tino Martinez, 39 home runs, and Paul O'Neill has been an Angel killer in his past.
Well, both of them are pretty good ball players. They're outstanding players, and Tino is coming to his own. There's no question about that. The ball's up on him. He drives that ball extremely well. And, you know, you take a guy like O'Neill, to me, he's just an all-around good hitter. He's an average hitter plus power.
Paul O'Neill has 18 home runs this year to go with 96 runs driven in, so Finley really has to be sharp. Chuck will go for his 14th win this year, and he will be tested because the New York Yankees send in their own left-handed ace in David Wells. Finley has won 10 straight games. That ties an Angels record, and David Wells has 4-0 in his last 4 starts. Fox Sports West presents Angels Baseball, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low you have the freedom to go places. By your Southern California Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. By the Discover Card, proud partner of the Smithsonian's 150th anniversary. By Gatorade, official sports beverage of Major League Baseball. And by your Southern California Chevrolet Geo dealers. Welcome back to Anaheim Stadium in Southern California for Game 1 of a 4-game series between the New York Yankees and the Anaheim Angels. Here's the batting lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Derek Jeter will lead things off. He is followed by Chad Curtis and then Bernie Williams. Tino Martinez with 39 home runs. He has driven in 116 in the cleanup spot. Then it's Mike Stanley, Paul O'Neill, Charlie Hayes, Joe Girardi bats 8th, Ray Sanchez, the new second baseman coming over from the Chicago Cubs. And on the hill for Anaheim, Big Chuck Finley. 13 wins this year, 6 defeats, 407 the earned run average. And as we showed you before the break, he has won his last 10 games. That ties an Angels record. And in the first pitch, Derek Jeter grounds out. So a good start for Chuck Finley. Only Ken McBride and Bert Blyleven have won 10 games in a row. And Chuck Finley has done that since July 1st. McBride did it in 1962. Blyleven 8 years ago in 1989. And Finley has a chance to do what no other Angel has done. Not Nolan Ryan or Frank Tanana or all the greats of the Angels past. Chuck Finley, the all-time winner in Angels history. And here is Chad Curtis, and Curtis takes a fastball right about the thighs, inside corner, strike 1.
The thing I like to see right now, the first pitch to Jeter, fastball. Next pitch to Curtis, fastball. I'd like to see him just stay right with that fastball till they show him different.
You have said that in the past, where you like to see the starting pitchers establish fastball, then later when they see this batter, maybe second, third time in the order, they've got some options to show him.
Well, you show him that good fastball, and as long as you're getting him out with it, keep bringing it to him.
He tried the curveball here, and he is high, 2 balls and 1 strike. But with Chad Curtis, you've said you get that fastball belt high, and he can really be trouble for you.
Yeah, you know what people don't realize, he's got good power. You get that ball about belt high, he's got extremely good power.
11 home runs this year and has been a major surprise for this team. And he pops this one high in the air, back over us and out of play, and the count 2-2.
That's the ball he'll chase. It's up high, it's out of the strike zone, and he'll chase it and pop that ball up. But it's got to be up out of the strike zone.
Well, he hit a career-high 21 home runs for your Tigers in 1995. Played with the Angels, Ben Widwin, the Angels realize the brilliance of Jim Edmonds. They traded Chad Curtis, and Chuck Finley strikes him out with the curveball. That is a pitch you said you can get him out on.
Yeah, it's beyond the zone, and that ball he won't hurt you with. You'll pop it up or miss it.
Well, here's a guy who's a very good high ball hitter in Bernie Williams, and he is batting .326 this year, coming off a left hamstring problem which sidelined him for a good 6 weeks. But look what he has done since coming back healthy. .433 to raise the average, which was near 300, to .326. He has also gone deep 15 times, and he is coming off a great year in 1996 when he hit 29 home runs and drove in 102. They will play Williams straight away. Fastball stays low. There's Joe Torre. Well, he did a marvelous job last year skippering the New York Yankees to his first World Championship.
Joe Torre is an outstanding manager and person.
Fastball right at the knees. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And I really think of the managers that I've seen, he is a lot like you.
Well, I don't know that we're a lot like, we're very good friends. Joe's very fortunate, as I was with George Sugar. He has Don Zimmer with him. And Zimmer's brilliant. People don't realize what an outstanding manager Zip was. And to have him as your right-hand man is a tremendous advantage to somebody.
Finley now ready. And the 1-2 pitch. And there's a chopper to Gary DiSarcina. He eats it up, and Chuck Finley with a very easy start to this game. 1, 2, 3, go the Yankees. He's got 8 to go. We'll be right back. Steve Physioc, Sparky Anderson with you at Anaheim Stadium. The New York Yankees and now the Anaheim Angels will bat. And here's their starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Ricky Henderson will lead things off. He was excellent both in Milwaukee and Baltimore. Darren Erstad, 3 for 3 in yesterday's loss to the Orioles. Then it's Dave Hollins hitting .290. Tim Salmon in the cleanup spot. Garrett Anderson bats 5th. Todd Green back in there in the 6th spot as the catcher. Jim Edmonds, 2 hits since returning from the disabled list, both extra base hits, a double and a home run. Craig Grabeck will give Luis Alicea a night off, and Gary DiSarcina is the shortstop batting 9th. They are tied with Milwaukee for the best record in the American League, 37-22. And here is a guy who has become one of the most dependable starters in the Yankee rotation. David Wells, excellent, 14-5. He has won his last 4 starts, and with an earned run average of .223. Only 33 walks. That is his strength. He does not walk very many. He has 115 strikeouts this year. Ricky Henderson will lead things off. His home debut here at Anaheim Stadium gets a warm ovation. And Ricky gobbled up from the San Diego Padres in a trade that sent 3 minor leaguers to San Diego. Ricky now in an Angel uniform. And Ricky takes high ball 1. Well, General Manager Bill Bavasi just met with the media talking about the Tony Phillips situation. And you know what that story is about. Tony Phillips refused the Angels' request to enter an inpatient drug treatment center, so the team suspended the leadoff batter indefinitely. The Players Association has appealed, so there will be an arbitration hearing tomorrow at 1 o'clock. He wants the club at full strength with 25 players. That is what Bill Bavasi wants. And if Tony is reinstated, it is up to Terry Collins for him to play. There is Bill Bavasi. If the suspension is upheld, he will be replaced on the roster, and the players are focused on the game, and the club can handle this situation. That is what Bill said. Henderson takes a strike. Ricky was ready to walk to first base. But this has been a very difficult time for Tony Phillips and even the ball club, but to come up with a quality leadoff man like Ricky Henderson is certainly a credit to Bill Bavasi. Looked a little high, but
well, 3-0.
That one is high. David Wells has walked the leadoff hitter in only 4 of his last 96 innings. I told you how strong he has been of late. And he came into this game winning his last 4 with an earned run average of 2.23. And it all started back in Oakland when he pitched his best game of the year, winning 7-0 over the Oakland Athletics, throwing a 3-hit shutout, Sparky, and he struck out a career high 16.
Well, if David's got his control and gets it where he wants, he's tough.
He will face Darren Erstad, who squares to bunt and takes a strike. Darren 3 for 3 yesterday, also with a walk. Pounded a double to lead things off in the 8th inning, but the Angels could not score him. And they lost the ball game in the bottom of the 9th, 2-1, really spoiling a great performance by Dennis Springer. Wells has allowed only 5 first-inning runs all year long. This is his 25th start. Strike on the outside corner, 0-2. What kind of move does Wells have to first base?
Well, he has an ordinary move, but he'll give you two types. He'll pick up and go to the plate, and then he'll slide step and go home. He'll fool around with Henderson.
Well, he has jumped in front of Darren Erstad. No balls, 2 strikes. Ricky with the lead at first base. He does not go. The pitch is swung on, driven in the gap, right center field. Paul O'Neill will watch this one go off the wall. Henderson storming around third. He will stop there, held up by Larry Bowa as the ball is played beautifully by Paul O'Neill. Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach, sitting with Joe Torre. And Mel was telling me before the ball game the great control that Wells has had his last 4 games, but he got that one up to Erstad.
Up and right in the middle of the plate.
So Ricky goes to third, Erstad to second base, and Darren missed his 13th home run this year by about 2 feet. Now Dave Hollins steps to the plate. Hollins has done a great deal of damage this year at Anaheim Stadium. There's a chopper. In comes Ricky Henderson. Jeter is coming home, and the play at the plate. Ricky's safe. Erstad goes to third. He's safe. So the Angels with runners in the corners, nobody out, and a run home. And Sparky, they had a chance at the plate, but Girardi just did not hold on to the baseball.
Ricky left late, too. Very late.
He almost broke when the ball was at the shortstop rather than right from the get-go. That was a slow roller.
Yeah, but if Jeter gives him a good throw and don't bounce it, he's out easy.
So the Angels take a 1-0 lead. Erstad at third. Hollins at first. Tim Salmon base hit to center field. In comes Erstad, and Salmon has RBI number 99 this year as the Angels take a 2-0 lead. Boy, Tim, who's usually a very patient hitter, he went after the first offering.
First offering was down, right over the plate and down. He loves that ball down.
So the Angels with good work on Wells here in the first inning. 2-0 the score. Hollins at second base, Salmon at first base. With 2 runs already in and still nobody out. And here is Garrett Anderson, 0 for 4 yesterday. But with a strong road trip, hitting better than 300, he takes a curveball, strike 1. That has been the pitch that has been the equalizer for David Wells the last 4 starts. Mel Stottlemyre, so he's been getting the curve on both corners of the plate well. Hollins second base. Salmon first. The 0-1 to Anderson. Curveball. just missed inside.
One thing about David, if you'll notice, when he has a man on second, you can run on him because he'll pick that leg up. If Hollins gets with one out, I wouldn't do it with no outs. With one out, look out, he's going to be running.
Garrett Anderson hits a seed to the corner. And here comes Hollins. He will score. Salmon stopping at third base. Anderson at second base. And the Angels lead 3-0. A gapper by Garrett. And the Angels jumping on David Wells, who the last 4 starts has been one of the hottest pitchers in the American League.
Watch where this ball is. He tries to get in on him, but he doesn't get in. And when he didn't get in, he had him.
And this is what has been strong with the Angels this year. They have been met with so many difficult situations after losing streaks, and yet they will somehow come back and fight through it. Yes, Sparky, we're only in the first inning, and the Angels with just a 3-0 lead and a long way to go, but it shows you the toughness. The team did not get in until 4:30 this morning on a United charter. By the time they get to Anaheim Stadium, it's 5:30. They get their bags and go home. It's practically 6 o'clock. So this is a tired group. But they have shown a great deal of mettle to start this contest.
It's a funny thing about that, though. You don't even think about that when you get to the ballpark.
And Rod Carew, the hitting instructor, and Terry Collins, the manager, both said, guys, no early hitting. Chuck Finley flew in the day before like starting pitchers well. He is well rested as he goes for his 11th straight win. But you can see the look of determination that he still has 8 innings to go.
Nobody likes the situation.
Sure. And 2 on base, both in scoring position, still with no outs in this first inning. Here is Todd Green. Had 5 hits on the road trip. 2 of them were home runs. One a huge one against Milwaukee that broke a 1-1 tie. Just his 33rd game with the Angels and has 8 home runs. Breaking ball misses. 2 balls, no strikes. Joe Torre, along with Mel Stottlemyre, were telling me before the ball game that Wells has a habit of getting into a rocking motion which can throw off his rhythm. And I know last time he pitched at Anaheim Stadium last year, you said you thought he was rushing his delivery. That does not appear to be the case right now, but he's just not hitting his spots.
He's not hitting any spots at all.
Angels with 2 on, nobody out. The count 3-0 to Green. Green light here.
Mr. Green's whacking. If he throws him a fastball, he can hit.
Todd takes the fastball. 3 balls, 1 strike. Green with 8 home runs, 22 driven in. Had 25 home runs at AAA Vancouver. Guy's got great bat speed and the 3-1 offering curveball. Just high, ball 4. So Green walks to load the bases. Still, Wells hasn't gotten anybody out, and now he faces Jim Edmonds. Sparky, this inning started with Ricky Henderson walking, Darren Erstad doubling. Dave Hollins reached on a slow roller to short, and Jeter went home, and Ricky Henderson scored in the play. Then Salmon, Anderson both singled in runs, and Green has now walked to load the bases. So Ricky started it. The Angels have scored 3, and still Wells hasn't gotten a man out. And now he throws a good fastball in for strike 1 to Jim Edmonds. Henderson has now scored in each of the last 5 games. That is what a quality leadoff hitter does. Edmonds in the hole. That's a base hit. Here comes Salmon right behind Garrett Anderson, and Anaheim takes a 5-0 lead.
I would say this is what you call a rough inning. This ball here, right over the plate again. He hasn't made what you call any real good pitches.
And he has gotten bombed in Joe Torre, who came into this game with a record of 73 and 49, 5 games behind the Baltimore Orioles for first place in the American League East, are struggling tonight. Baltimore, meantime, is in Kansas City with a doubleheader. I mean, Wells has allowed 5 runs, had allowed 5 total first-inning runs in his first 24 starts, but the Angels just thrashing them. Now Craig Graybeck, roll it to short. Jeter looks for 2, has 1, and the double play, but Todd Green comes home from third. So there's no Angels left in the bases, but Sparky, they've scored 6 runs, and I think Terry Collins will take that.
He'll take that with Finley out there, I promise you.
So the Angels will send their 9th batter to the plate. Chuck Finley, who cruised through a 1-2-3 first inning, going for an Angel record 11 games, 1 in a row. Pisar chops it. Hayes with a tough play, bare hands, and drops the ball. So Gary reaches on a base hit, and now the 10th Angel to hit comes up in this first inning.
This ball here takes a funny bounce on him.
Yeah, Charlie had a rough day the other contest on Saturday, making 3 errors. Although New York was able to survive and win that ball game. But Charlie now has 12 errors this year. That was a base hit given to Gary DiSarcina. The Angels with 5 hits, all, of course, in this first inning when they've scored their runs. And here comes Rickey for the 2nd time in the first inning. And it's a little deja vu all over again as David Wells gets the fastball to the outside corner, strike 1. Anaheim with a 6-0 lead. He is 2 runs away from 1900 in what has been a future Hall of Fame career. Fastball, base hit left field. That is the 10th man to reach. Now the Angels send their 11th batter to the plate in Darren Erstad. He doubled, scored a run his last time up. David Wells down 6-0 here in the first inning. Nothing doing in the Yankees bullpen. But the Angels, Sparky, had a 6-run lead on Saturday against the Baltimore Orioles, up 7-1. Later up 5-3 in the 6th inning and could not hold on, losing 10-9 as the Orioles scored 7 runs in the 6th inning. Erstad takes the curveball. And that 6-run lead that the Angels had against Baltimore, that equaled their largest blown lead of the season for the Angels. The bullpen has not been as sharp as the Angels had hoped it would be this year, but they have been knocked around by so many injuries. Certainly the costly one to Troy Percival at the beginning of the season. Then in July to Mike James. Another curveball thrown by Wells. 1-1. But everybody has problems, Sparky, and as you indicated, nobody cares.
Nobody wants to hear your problems because they got their own.
So the Angels coming back and visiting with Gary DiSarcina yesterday, Sparky, he said the experiences of 95 and 96 for the young ball club have paid off. And he simply meant the fact that we learn from those experiences. There are some guys who grumble and complain and don't move past that. This Angel outfit has grown and learned and benefited, and he really feels they have not only will challenge this year but have a promising future in 1998 when the new ballpark opens. There's Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden, 2 big pieces to this New York Yankee puzzle to repeat as world champions in 1997. They beat the Atlanta Braves in 6 games last year. Gooden threw a no-hitter last season. Strawberry was a great ad down the stretch. Wells has the count his way, 1-2. Erstad fouls the curveball off. Darren has been on base his last 5 at bats. 4 yesterday against Baltimore, 3 hits and a walk, and now the double to start this game. The Angels already with 6 hits in the first inning. They have scored 6 runs. That is off the corner, 2-2.
I think David thinks he's been out here for a long time. He thinks it's the 5th inning.
Well, this certainly doesn't look like it's going to be a complete game for David. He's already thrown about 30 pitches in the first inning alone. Erstad with a drive to deep right field. It is twisting, and it is a foul ball. But boy, did he get all that one.
I don't think that curveball even fooled him one bit. Just hung right there and said, hit me.
And here's a kid who's so conscientious, Darren Erstad. You don't think that he was hurting after that ground ball was hit his way in last night's loss? Here's that swing they were talking about.
Look at this. That front shoulder is unbelievable the way it stays there.
Tries to fluke one to center field. Coming on is Bernie Williams. It will drop. DiSarcina will score. The Angels take a 7-0 lead.
The thing I like is the fact that Erstad has been playing against all these left-handers. A year from now, look at this. He stays right there. He doesn't never move his front side out. And the only reason that David's still there right now, they got a doubleheader tomorrow. If they didn't have a doubleheader tomorrow, no way in the world is he there with 7 runs.
And that first game will start at 4:05. The nightcap at 7:35. So we invite you to come all down to Anaheim Stadium. Angels fighting back after 3 games losing to the Baltimore Orioles. Seattle, meantime, playing tonight against the Cleveland Indians. And in their game that is just underway, it is John Smiley throwing for the Indians. And Dave Hollins here fouls it out of play. Strike 1. And Ken Cloud, the rookie, is going for Seattle. There is Chuck. He's had a long time to watch this first inning. But it has been worth it when he gets 7 run support. Henderson at third. Erstad at first. Hollins waves at the second pitch. 0-2. Dave should have been the first man out. He sent a roller to the shortstop, Derek Jeter, and Ricky Henderson really broke late for the plate. The ball was there in time, but Girardi could not hold on. And Ricky Henderson scored, and everything fell apart for Davy Wells after that. Fastball inside corner. Hollins is gone. But the Angels send 12 men to the plate in the first inning. You could read his lips. Wow. It was a big wow for Chuck Finley. Welcome back to Anaheim Stadium, where the Angels score 7 runs in the first inning. Steve Physioc, Sparky Anderson, and we're joined by Cable News Network star Larry King. He is a Baltimore Orioles fan, and tell me about this score. You looked up at the clouds, and what did you just tell us?
I forecast rain because I'm a bad luck omen. I'm a pessimist, and they're going to wipe out this 7-0 lead.
No.
What are the Orioles doing? We had a doubleheader tonight.
You win the first. You win the first one.
Okay, Sparky, don't get excited.
Oh, no.
We're used to this. We're going to have the best record in baseball by the end of the week. Braves lose a couple more, we'll have the best.
Every time I come to Baltimore, I had to listen to this.
Oh, Sparky, how do you work with him, sweetie?
He's a joy,
The man
an
is a
absolute
genius.
joy. Here is Tino
manager.
Martinez.
Davis is one of the great managers. Not only one of the great managers, one of the great people who ever lived.
Have you heard about his new book?
No, you got a new book, Sparky?
No, it's not out yet, Larry, but I watch you every night. Something's going wrong with me.
Here's a ground ball to Craig Grayback, and 1 out. Finley has retired 4 in a row, but it is called, and it doesn't cost a dime. It's about simple kindness.
Sparky has written a book about kindness. And it doesn't cost it. I'll bet it's the forward by the Umpires Association.
And it costs only $5.95 in paperback.
Well, Sparky, would you like to come on our show to discuss this?
I will be in March. I'm going to ask you to come on.
You will be on. You are cordially
I watch
invited.
it every night, so I ought to get to come on.
Here's something amazing to me about baseball, guys. I've been a fan all my life. And I can only work the top of the second. I got to go back down south. But I want to ask you something. They travel all night, the Angels. They land at 5 in the morning. The Yankees get here completely well rested. If you were going to bet a game, not that that's allowed, you would have to say the Yankees have the edge.
Yeah.
The Angels are time.
But we don't bet, but I agree with you.
So what happened? Did they just...
You know what it is, Larry? I think the same way you, truthfully, in your business. You might fly all night.
You get up.
And you got to do it, but it makes you get up and you're even sharper.
What was wrong with Wells?
Lazy with his pitches.
Lazy, yeah. It was
Lazy
up high,
with
right?
his pitches, yeah.
There's Terry Collins, who is one of the leading candidates for manager of the year. The turnaround that the Angels have had this year has just been remarkable.
Got a great sense of humor right here, right?
Really very nice person.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Mike Stanley, the new acquisition from the Boston Red Sox. But Larry, Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach for New York, was telling me about a Yankee situation where they had a full day's rest, and the Boston Red Sox had played a doubleheader, and it was a twilight doubleheader, and had to fly across the country to play New York. He said, we figured we were going to kill these guys. They came out and scored like 13 runs and blew us out. There's a base hit by Stanley.
It's a wonderful game.
Really is, and we just came from
you came from my place.
Yards.
You don't make the road trips, do you?
No.
No way, no. I can get Sparky out of California.
And Baltimore really is the best team we've seen in the American League this year.
I heard Terry Collins say that today. 3 one-run games. Orioles are a very good team.
Excellent bullpen.
Yeah, they don't have any weaknesses.
No, they're solid. They're solid all the way. Once they got their bullpen really solid up,
Now Chuck Finley to Paul O'Neill. And O'Neill takes low.
It's a pretty good. You know, the Yankees have the 3rd best record in baseball. And they're only a game and a half worse than Atlanta. You think about it. You know, Joe Torre told me the Yankees have 2 more victories this year than last year at this time.
At this
last
time.
year they were way ahead.
Right.
There's a strike on the inside corner. You're right, because New York was 71 and 52 last year, but they had a 6-game lead on Baltimore.
Yeah, that's
and
reversed.
Baltimore, which was interesting, you look at all of their offensive stars, all of the Orioles numbers are down, but their pitching is so much better.
Palmeiro's been off all year.
Still, he's got 25 home runs,
But he hasn't hit
80
like the
RBIs.
old Rafael.
No.
The big clutch hit. You know who's a great hitter on that club is, well, Ripken's having a very good year. And Surhoff.
Surhoff's having a big year.
Was he always a good ball player?
Always a good hitter.
Underrated. I
Yeah.
never heard about B.J. Surhoff.
Well, in Milwaukee, you don't get
Yeah, you don't hear it. No press. This is a good hitter.
Ball takes on the outside corner, and he is gone. The 2nd strikeout for Chuck Finley in this game. Angels with a 7-0 lead here in the 2nd.
Watch this pitch, though. This ball will be right on the outside.
Yeah.
He just threads it. He's pitching, Larry, to me. I've watched him now since he got on this streak. He's pitching as well as Clemens is pitching at Toronto. This kid's been outstanding.
You figure Clemens, huh? To be like this. I like Steve Clemens. He's a battler.
Yeah.
That ball is low, but in his first 14 starts, Chuck goes 3 and 6 with an earned run average near 6. The last 10, he has won all 10 with a 2.17 earned run average. And there have been times, Sparky, we've seen him where you go, well, he doesn't have his best stuff, but he battles through it and gives his club a chance to win. That is off the glove of Dave Hollins into left field. Stopping at second base, Mike Stanley. So New York with 2 on, 2 out here in the 2nd inning.
Nice try by Hollins.
Hollins has been a real leader this year.
What a story he is.
A guy with diabetes has to give himself 3 shots a day. And in August, particularly in Baltimore, He finally had to come out of the ninth inning, out of the game on Sunday where the temperature was 97 degrees, and Terry looked into his face and he saw that he was turning gray again and said, "I got to get you out of there." And Dave even admitted, "I'm done."
Guess who I visited with a long time at the Hall of Fame thing? Your buddy, your pal. I told him, "You're a little runt." Big Earl. I call him.
Earl Weaver. He went up for that? That's
Yeah.
Big well, he'll be up there for when you go in.
Oh, guys, he's something else, man.
Earl the Pearl. What times we had with him.
Fastball in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know him, Steve? You meet Earl?
Yes, I've met him. I don't know him nearly as well as you do, but I love the story about Davy Johnson telling when Davy was a ball player and he had done all these spreadsheets on his computer on defensive things and handed them to Earl, and Earl looked at him and said, "This is great, Dave." Dave walked out of the clubhouse, he crumpled them up, threw them in the garbage can. He said, "Well, we'll win if my brains hold out."
Weaver Anderson had some unusual battles.
Oh, yeah. But he was special. He really was.
Sparky, did you go over to Japan with Earl at one time?
No, I went twice. I took 2 clubs, but I didn't go the trip that Earl went.
Count 2-1 to Joe Girardi, the number 8 hitter in the New York lineup. Finley throws and just does miss off the corner. 3-1. Finley 1 pitch away of loading the bases and facing Ray Sanchez, the newest acquisition from Chicago.
Boy, Sanchez got a good deal, huh?
Yeah. What a nice deal. Get out of there.
Get out of the Cubs. And
went from last in the National League Central.
Second.
The defending champions. And there's ball 4. So Finley does load the bases by walking the number 8 hitter Joe Girardi, his first walk issued in the game. And now Sanchez at the plate. Angels sent 12 men to the plate in the bottom of the first inning and scored 7 runs. Larry, where do you go from here?
I'm vacationing this week down the road a bit at La Costa, and then I go back up to L.A. for a week. 2 weeks in L.A. I sort of spend it half L.A., half Washington now. I like L.A. I like Southern California so much. Well, I work at 6 o'clock in Southern California, and of course back east I'm on at 9, because we're always live. So 9 o'clock I don't have any life during the week, but out in the West I do, because I can go to ball games. I can go to dinner at a normal hour, but I still got to be a lot of time in Washington.
Well, you must like competition, because it seems like your 2 loves are sports and politics.
Yeah,
nothing
sure. Although the sports pages are the first thing I read. You know, when you grow up in Brooklyn, as I did, you had to know sports. You had to know batting averages. You couldn't be wrong in arguing on the corner. And it's still my first, as George Will said, telling me how much baseball is a part of him. He said if the headline in the paper was George Will's Secret Life Revealed, he would first turn to the box score.
That's good.
Flare to right field, but out of play. It goes to 2-1 as Finley has to come in with some strikes. Sanchez had the count his way, 2-0.
Yeah, they gang up on you in Baltimore, those 2. Yeah, you know, I said, isn't this something? One's writing and the other's talking, and they got you nailed. You can't do anything.
Well, the Yankees have a chance to get back in it here, don't they?
Strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tino Martinez started the inning by grounding out. Then Mike Stanley singled. O'Neill struck out. Joe Girardi walked after Charlie Hayes singled. And now Sanchez with the 2-2 count. And Joe misses away.
We just showed Joe Torre. Joe Torre has the best worried look of all managers. Joe Torre is look at him. He's worried. I love him. He's a Brooklyn boy. Look at this. I am worried. I'm worried about everything. The doubleheader tomorrow. The pitches. What's wrong with Wells? Come on, get a hit, Sanchez. Run, everybody.
To center field, racing on Jim Edmonds. That will drop. And 2 runs will score, and a 3rd will score. And New York is right back in this game on Ray Sanchez's single.
That's how many singles bat in 3 runs?
I haven't seen
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I haven't seen one. I know that.
Right? There's no error.
No error.
Single knocked in 3 runs. The catcher at first base. Yep. but he's a pretty good catcher.
Yes, he is.
Joe Girardi can run.
He can run and he can catch.
Let's watch this. Edmonds really had no chance here. Sanchez, if you're going to place a ball, place this perfectly. And with everybody going on a 3-2 pitch, that gave the edge to that runner at first, who was around third, and then a poor throw made it easy.
A 7-3 ball game. Out comes Marcel Latchman, and he has asked the home plate umpire John Hirschbeck to join him. Apparently Chuck Finley fell down
Backing
when
up.
he went to back up the play at the plate.
Could be one of those nights, Sparky.
Boy, I tell you what, right here in this ballpark, we had lost 3 games in Oakland that we had, listen to this, Larry, we had a 2 or more run lead going in the 9th in Oakland. We lost all 3. Now I'm about in shock. We come down here in the first night, we got them beat 12-5, 9th inning. Man on first, next guy up walks, so it's first and second. No problem. When the game ended, Schofield hit a grand slam for 13-12. We never got another out. I told my wife, I got back to the hotel, I told my wife, I said, take a needle, stick it in me. I said, I won't feel it, I'm numb.
Well, Sparky, let's see if Chuck Finley and how he hurt himself on this play.
Right here, you're going to see.
Bottom left side of your screen,
Oh.
falls down.
Running backwards.
Yeah.
They're probably going to let him throw a few, right?
Oh, yeah, they always do that.
Well, this would be a blow if there were anything serious here. To the Angels, who can ill afford another injury.
No.
Well, New York coming back with the bottom of their lineup doing the damage as the Angels started the inning with a 7-0 lead. They had 2 outs and 1 man on, but Charlie Hayes singled, Joe Girardi walked, and Ray Sanchez singled in 3 runs.
Looks okay here. What do you say?
He looks fine to me. He's throwing free.
Well, then we'll let you guys tell the trainers that he's okay to pitch.
He's okay.
David Wells. As you
Spark, send the okay signal.
He's okay.
He's okay. Steve, make it a 3-6. It's okay.
You know what? See that guy off to the right? Well, when they're looking from the center field camera to the left now, Marcel Latchman. I'll let Latch and Collins make the decision. I'll let you guys entertain us.
We made it.
We
He
made
stays.
it. It's done.
One call from Sparky.
Yeah. I made too many calls.
So the Angels' lead has been cut to 4. 7-3 in the second inning. Ray Sanchez did the damage, clearing the bases with a single that blooped in front of Jim Edmonds in right center field. And now Derek Jeter is the batter. Sanchez, with only 12 runs driven in with Chicago all year long, drives in 3 in 1 inning with New York. Fastball hit in the ground. Gary DiSarcina, the force at second. The inning is over, but New York scores 3 runs to cut it to 7-3. Larry, thanks for
Good
joining
luck, Angels. Hope we see you in the playoffs. Sparky, great. See you in March.
It's your chance to interact with Sparky and me by faxing your questions to us throughout the game. Just fax your questions to 1-888-371-5888. Please add your name, address, and cable company, and we'll try to answer your questions on the air, so send us a fax now. Tim Salmon will lead things off for the Angels in the bottom of the second inning. Anaheim with a 7-3 lead. Tim singled in a run his first time up. They have been checking Chuck Finley's left hand. When he fell backwards, backing up home plate, he tried to catch himself with both hands and jammed that left hand. So we will see how Chuck responds from that fall.
See how straight up David is? He's not getting through the ball. He's staying up above it.
Rick Smith, the trainer, right next to Finley, meantime.
See that? He's ending up straight up.
Second walk by Wells, and again, he only averages 2 per 9 innings. Salmon on a pace, meantime, for 100 walks, and that is a good start for the Angels to push the lead back over 4. Right now it's 7-3. And the batter is Garrett Anderson. Anderson singled in a run, scored a run in that 7-run first inning. Meantime, in Seattle, top of the 4th inning, Cleveland has a 1-0 lead. John Smiley throwing for Cleveland and Ken Cloud, the rookie, throwing for the Mariners. So if the Angels can triumph here, Seattle loses, there again would be a tie for first place in the American League West. Garrett takes a strike in the outside corner, 0-2. Well, we just received a fax from Lisa Maisel in Upland, California, who asked the question, Sparky. I was wondering what the reports are on Mark Langston and Mark Gubicza and Rich DeLucia and how much longer they are going to be gone. We will give you their updates right after this pitch to Garrett Anderson. Fouled it off. Well, Gubicza was on the trip in Chicago, Milwaukee, and in Baltimore, and was throwing in the side. He's reported that he could be ready either late August or the beginning of September. Meantime, Rich DeLucia, about a week ago, we saw him throw in Chicago, and they said reports were good. He checked with his doctor at Northwestern University, and they said he could start throwing again, and maybe he is 3 weeks away. Langston, you see, to the right of your picture, good news on Mark as well. He will not throw in a rehab assignment again. He will have a simulated game probably on Thursday. That pitch misses, and the count evens at 2 balls, or rather a ball and 2 strikes. So still the count Wells' way. But Mark and Terry Collins had a discussion in the clubhouse today, and Mark said he did not think he needed another rehab assignment, that he would rather throw in front of Latch and Collins, a simulated game on Thursday, and they said we'd like that as well. Fastball misses away, 2-2.
The only thing that ever worries me about all that stuff is here we are almost the 20th of August. Now, when you go out and pitch the first time, you got to go 3 innings. Then we're going to go 5 innings.
Well, he went 5 innings, remember, in his rehab assignment at Lake Elsinore.
But that 5 innings at Elsinore ain't here. That's the only things that bother me when you have to plan your staff, and then you have to plan on a guy pitching 4 and 5 innings. Tough.
Salmon first base. Garrett fouls it off. That's a good point, Sparky.
Well, it makes it very tough. You know, you're trying to plan your staff and get guys in position. That ain't no time to have to be going 4 and 5 innings.
Oh, good pitch by David Wells. Took something off that. Strikes out Garrett Anderson for the first out of the 2nd inning.
This pitch here is unhittable, though, where he put it. Now, that's David when he puts balls in that position.
And now Wells will face Todd Green, who he walked his first time up, and Green came around to score. Scored the Angels' 6th run. 7 runs for the Angels in the first. New York came back with 3 in the second. Green with a smash to center field. Bernie Williams racing back, and that is gone. Well, Sparky, that is a huge home run for the Angels after New York scored 3 runs in their half of the 2nd inning.
Takes all the life right out of him, is what that does. When you come back and strike right away quick. Look at this ball here out over the plate. Look at this ball right out over the plate and down and just a little bit below the belt.
And that kid now has 34 home runs this year. David Wells can't believe that smash. to right center field by a little guy at 5'9". Now Jim Edmonds with a rope down the right side. He'll have at least one. It goes into the corner, and Edmonds will have a stand-up double. 2 hits for Jim in the game, 2 RBIs, and the Angels are really bouncing around David Wells here in the second inning again. 9 runs for Anaheim, 3 runs for New York.
Curveball. It just stayed right there.
So Edmonds at second base, just 1 out. The batter is Craig Graybeck, who bounced into a 6-4-3 double play in the first inning. And on the play, a run scored. There is Todd Green. 34 home runs by that kid this year. 25 in the minors, 9 in the majors. Graybeck fouls it off. Graham Lloyd is starting to warm in the New York bullpen. Big, tall left-hander from Australia. 6 feet, 7.5 inches tall. Wells, who we told you had been flat brilliant in the last 2 weeks, starting with that complete game shutout of the Oakland Athletics on a 3-hitter where he struck out 16. That started his brilliance. He's won the last 4, but tonight he has been awful. 9 runs on 9 hits in less than 2 innings. Graybeck takes the curveball. Graybeck had a streak where he was flat fabulous tail end of June and into July, but just 4 hits in his last 28 at bats, although 2 came on Sunday in his last start. Sparky Craig, one of those rare guys that says no thank you to the batting gloves. He goes right with the flesh. Let's get the feel of that wood. Curveball in there. Good pitch. 1 and 2.
This is where he'll try to get in. Watch. But his control tonight hasn't been sharp enough to do it, but he's going to try to get in.
He said no to the first 2 offerings by Girardi. You're thinking fastball in. That's the call. Bends him away. Good call, Sparky.
That's where he'll always 1 and 2, and 2 and 2. He try to get you out in there.
He has struck out 115 coming into this game. Edmonds is at second base.
Going to throw a changeup.
And Graybeck goes with it and hits it hard, but right at the second baseman, and Sanchez throws out Graybeck for the second out. Edmonds takes third in the play. Angels with a nice 2-run comeback in the bottom of the second inning. Hideki Irabu will throw in tomorrow night's ball game, a game you can watch here on Fox Sports West. The first game will show Dwight Gooden, and then in the nightcap it'll be Irabu against, we understand, Jason Dixon. Well, he missed on the bubble. Got it on the top lip. Big kid, but talking to Mel Stottlemyre today, said really he rebounded well when he was sent down to AAA Columbus. And Stottlemyre said he got comfortable again. He thought he was rushing his pitches a little too much, and certainly he has a great deal of confidence. When you come completely across the world, you're not playing amongst your friends. Well, you'll have a bit of nerves as well, and that was what Hideki Irabu was going through a little bit. Count 1-1 to Gary DiSarcina. He's a guy who used to just go with the bare hands holding onto the bat. Now you see the batting gloves. Curveball in there. 1 and 2 to Gary. 2 outs, 2 runs in the second inning on the home run by Todd Green. Fastball popped up right side. Out goes Tino Martinez. Sanchez trying to run it down and collects it just in fair territory. But Todd Green comes back with a 2-run home run to give the Angels a 9-3 lead going to the 3rd inning here at Anaheim. Here's our Discover Card payback playback. This date in history, August 19th, 1931, Lefty Grove won his 16th straight game, tying the American League record. He lost his next start, though, 1-0, allowing 1 unearned run. Penn won his next 8 decision. And Grove still shares the American League season record with 16 straight wins. Walter Johnson did it, so did Joe Wood and Schoolboy Rowe. Finley has won 10 in a row. But he suffered an injury to his left hand or wrist or thumb area, backing up a play at home plate the last inning. So let's see how he comes back here against Chad Curtis. Curtis struck out swinging his first time up. And there is strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, that had some bite to it, so we hope that Chuck's arm is just fine. Nine to 3 Angels. 7 runs in the first, 2 in the second. New York came up with 3 in their half of the second. That is high. 2 balls and 1 strike. We told you that the Cleveland Indians have the lead on Seattle, 1-0 in the 3rd inning. No change there. Two balls, 2 strikes. Other finals in the American League: Toronto beating Chicago 6-5, Detroit over Minnesota 8-2, and Baltimore beat Kansas City in the first game of the doubleheader 12-9. The Royals winning the nightcap 3-0 in the 4th. That had to be a real challenge for Baltimore because they got their buses left after our Angel buses left last night, and I would imagine, Sparky, they flew out of Baltimore at 1 o'clock in the morning, probably got to Kansas City about 2:30 in the morning. Good changeup by Chuck. And again, he's working him up in the strike zone, as you said.
Yeah, the ball above the lower part of the letters. You'll see this ball. He just doesn't get to it. I used to talk to him about it and ask him, I said, you ever think that you make yourself out chasing that ball? They're not getting you out. You make yourself out.
Well, he has that look of frustration on his face as he sits in the New York dugout. And now Finley will go to work with the dangerous Bernie Williams, and he sends a ground ball immediately to Gary DiSarcina. And that is what Chuck would like to see, some early count outs.
Right now, for him to do, until somebody, cracks a base hit, it should be just right down the middle, and here you are. Let's go.
Well, here's a guy who it is dangerous to throw right down the middle to, and Tino Martinez, and it doesn't matter if you're left-handed, right-handed, if you shoot it out of a cannon. This guy can flat hit. 39 home runs this year, 116 runs driven in. Only 2 Yankee first basemen have ever led the American League in home runs. One was Wally Pipp, who was later replaced by the greatest first baseman of all time, Lou Gehrig. When he replaced Pipp, that's when he started that consecutive game streak that has since been broken by Cal Ripken Jr. But the 39 home runs, the most by a Yankee first baseman since Lou Gehrig hit 49 in 1936. Breaking ball stays high.
This is the one that Seattle surprised me a little bit on. They had Griffey and Rodriguez and this young man. Just think what they had going for them there.
And they just really felt that they could not re-sign him, that the money that he would be demanding would be too great for Seattle to show. But you're right, in the Kingdome with that short porch in right field. Acquired from Seattle with Jeff Nelson, Jim Messier, and Sterling Hitchcock. And I really think that Lou Piniella loves Sterling Hitchcock. And Hitchcock never worked out in Seattle the one year they had him, and he's since been traded to San Diego. Up and in to Tino, so he walks with 2 outs here in the 3rd inning. And Chuck Finley will now face Mike Stanley. So those are 2 very difficult trades that Seattle has had to make. One of Tino Martinez, and the other one this year, Jose Cruz Jr. for Mike Timlin and Paul Spoljari. What did you think of that trade?
I didn't like that trade at all.
And we talked about that when we were back doing our Fox Sports West games, and I said, Sparky, I think there's about 10 general managers out there who are thinking, I could have had that kid for just a little bit more.
Well, I think the reason I probably have such high respect for Bob Howsam, I don't think you can do a better all-around job from every facet of the game than Bob Howsam did. I don't.
In your Cincinnati
I don't
days.
think there's been one around that could equal him for this reason. He would never trade a young one to win a pennant. That was his thing. We won't win then, he used to say in the meeting. If you don't think we can win without giving up a young one, then we will not win.
And I think you said it many times how proud you were with Bill Bavasi and Tim Meade that they did not trade the core of the Angels, and yet they still made the team better.
Made the team better, but don't give up those young ones.
And that's that outfield of Garrett Anderson, Jim Edmonds, and Tim Salmon. First baseman Darren Erstad. Shortstop Gary DiSarcina. Again popped foul out of play by Stanley. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, Stanley returning to New York, where he had some great days, but let's very quickly go back to what you were talking about. You told me one time that the 6 greatest trades that you ever made with Detroit and Cincinnati were the ones that you did not make.
Absolutely. They're always the best trades that you make are the ones you don't make. Because usually when you're ready to make a deal, you're hot at somebody. And like Bob used to say, you'd have Maul gone if I let him go.
Curveball stays high, 2-2.
He was a great buffer. Like I say, I cannot possibly ever tell anybody or explain how good he was. He's the best I have ever seen when it comes to that.
Has the game changed? I mean, as the dealings have gone, agents becoming more of a factor in the game?
Well, yeah, that has, but I'll tell you what, he'd still be the same. Everything would still be the same with him. He would never break up his club to try to win. He always felt this way. If we can't win with what we have, then we're not going to win. But we're not giving up something for a one-year shot.
The Angels certainly have rallied well from a difficult time in 1996 to be competitive in 97. Finley throws that one away, and Martinez will go to second base. Green chasing the baseball down. Tino at second, and the count is 3-2 to Mike Stanley. 70 wins last year. And right now, the Angels are going for win number 69 in August. So Chuck, after getting a quick 2 first outs, Chad Curtis he struck out. Bernie Williams got him the ground out. He walked Tino Martinez, and now has worked the count full to Mike Stanley, a guy with terrific power. Stanley pops it up, foul territory, a long run for Erstad, but that will be about 10 rows up. So Sparky, what you would like to see done is that efforts be made into each team's minor league organization. Develop those players that you have.
If you put all your attention to that and all your resources into that, over the 25-year period, you're going to be way ahead.
Finley throws low and walks Stanley, and that is Chuck's 3rd walk in this game, the 2nd in the inning. And here comes Terry Collins, and he again has asked the umpire John Hirschbeck to come out because they do not feel like Finley is throwing the ball correctly ever since he fell down trying to back up a play behind home plate on a base hit by Ray Sanchez that scored 3 runs. Finley fell down in the play, tried to brace himself, and jammed his left hand. And I think Terry wants to make sure that he wants a new pitcher. And because this is an injury situation, that new pitcher will be given every chance he needs to warm up. Wow. Your hottest pitcher, your best pitcher, Chuck Finley, would love to nail down this victory, but more important, he is such an important piece to the member of this rotation. So Jason Dixon, who is scheduled to start yesterday, will come out of the bullpen for the first time this year. How about this? So Finley walks into the clubhouse to put ice and get treatment on that left hand, and here comes Jason Dixon. We'll talk more about this when we come back. A surprise for our Fox Sports West audience. Jason Dixon comes out of the bullpen for the first time this year. He was expected to pitch the second game of the doubleheader against the New York Yankees' Hideki Irabu, but instead Dixon comes out of the pen to try and lift Chuck Finley to a victory. Chuck is not eligible for the win, but just hold on and give the Angels a win. Dixon's numbers this year: he is 11-5 with an earned run average of 4, 25 starts with 2 complete games this season, and his control has been excellent. 40 walks in 157 2/3 innings. And we've got something to tell you. Don't miss the Angels and the Boston Red Sox on August 24th. Before the game, select Angel players will sign autographs, sponsored by Times Orange County. After the game, you'll receive a commemorative photo courtesy of United Parcel Service. Sparky, what do you think of this move that the Angels have with Chuck Finley leaving the game? Let's go back and take a look at the replay of how Chuck got injured. And it was on the bases loaded situation in the second inning, and Ray Sanchez singled. Now watch the bottom left of your screen where Finley goes down.
He tried to brace himself with that hand, the left hand. See, he knows. He heard it.
You see him moving it back and forth. Dixon with his first relief appearance in the majors or the minors, and he will get as much time as he needs to warm up because of the injury to Chuck Finley. Meantime, scores to bring your way around the major leagues. Florida with a win over the Chicago Cubs. Cincinnati topped Colorado 6-5. San Francisco a winner over Philadelphia at 9-5, that final score. The Cardinals beat Montreal 12-5. Atlanta with another win, 4-3. They have the most wins in the major leagues with 77 now. And in the American League pennant race, well, right now it is Seattle with a game lead on Anaheim, but the Mariners are losing to Cleveland at the Kingdome 1-0 in the 4th inning. Here it is 9-3 Anaheim in the 3rd. In the American League East, New York 5.5 behind Baltimore, and the Angels 6 games back in the wild card race. Jason Dixon will make his first relief appearance, and what kind of a challenge could this be for a young 24-year-old who has never had a relief appearance in the minors or the majors, and probably in college as well?
Well, I wouldn't think there's any challenge with a 9-3 lead and 2 out first and second. If that's a challenge, he's going to have some severe challenges.
It's like one of those starts where you go, son, you're going to start today, and you're going to start leading by 6 runs. What
Terry's done right there for him, if he walks in from the bullpen, he ought to be able to say to himself, Terry's just giving me a win. That's what he's done, because he gets the win if he pitches 3-4 innings.
Jason Dixon has had a marvelous season already with 11 wins. He has had a little bit of elbow and shoulder problems this season, but he had a excellent workout on Saturday in Baltimore, and the Angels reported that he would be ready to go and would be starting one of the games of the doubleheader. Now we are unsure who would be going in the second game of that doubleheader, with Ken Hill going against Dwight Gooden in the first and Hideki Irabu facing undetermined in the nightcap. Young man, he's turned that Angel cap backwards. He's ready to go, but he's a little concerned because Chuck Finley is going for 11 straight wins. Is out of the game. So Dixon being given all the time he needs to warm up. And you see how Chuck's name has been scratched out. Dixon's has been penciled in, but Chuck has been so brilliant. And if there's one man more responsible to getting the Angels back into first place and contending in the American League West, other than Chuck Finley, I'm not sure who that is, because in 10 starts, he has 10 decisions. All 10 were victories, and the Angels went from when he started that streak from 6.5 games back into the lead by a half game. Then they struggled in Baltimore, and they are a full game back starting tonight. Wow. Well, Sparky, we want you to bring your family and friends to Anaheim Stadium on Saturday, September 13th, when the Angels battle the Kansas City Royals. Every fan in attendance will receive a new stadium puzzle cube, courtesy of Edison International. And Sparky, you've been working on this puzzle cube the last 4 days, and he's going to break it.
I'll tell you one thing, I've seen how the stadium looks anyway. How about that? Oh, man. I can really do this. My grandkids do this so easy, and I can't even figure it out.
Well, you almost got it.
There.
Look at that.
How about that? I gave you the Angels.
The puzzle cube. But it's got a picture of the new stadium on one side and what the luxury suites will be looking like on the other side.
You and Stacy walking up to the park.
Right. We don't have our kids with us, though.
That's all right.
So we're having fun that evening.
No, they're farmed out for the next 8 months.
Oh, you're a lot of noise. We're having fun at the old ballpark as the Angels with a 9-3 lead in the third inning. And the first 2.5 innings have gone an hour and 15 minutes. It does roll on as the Angels scored 7 runs on a roll in the first inning, sending 12 men to the plate. They came back with 2 more in the second inning on the 2-run home run by Todd Green. Al Clark, the third base umpire, is visiting with fans here at Anaheim Stadium. Guy's trying to finish his hot dog as he waits for Jason Dixon to complete his warm-up tosses. Well, the best team since the All-Star break, Anaheim right at the top, 25-12, with 10 of those victories going to Chuck Finley, who right now is in the Angels clubhouse getting treatment on that left wrist. New York at 24-14 and Baltimore at 23-13. The Orioles just sweeping the Angels with 3 one-run victories at Camden Yards. Good crowd on hand tonight, better than 20,000. They expect a crowd near 30,000 tomorrow for a doubleheader between the New York Yankees and the Angels. Doubleheader that will begin at 4:05, with the second contest scheduled to begin at 7:35. We welcome you all down as the Angels continue in the pennant chase in the American League West. Cleveland still with the lead on Seattle. Just received this 1-0 in the fourth inning. Cleveland ahead of Seattle, and the Angels leading 9-3 here. Well, Jason Dixon now moving and talking with home plate umpire John Hirschbeck, and also with Todd Green. And here is the situation. The New York Yankees have 2 outs and 2 on. Tino Martinez is at second base, where he has been standing for a long time, and Mike Stanley will be on first base. Now Jason Dixon has asked Rick Smith to come out, wiping the sweat off his forearms and hands. And Dixon apparently getting a drink of water, and he's getting all the time he needs to get ready. He'll get the lawn chair out, get that fan to get the tan on his face. He'll maybe order a steak dinner.
He's socializing.
He gets all the time he needs to get ready. She's checking out the scoreboard. Still says Cleveland 1, Seattle nothing, 4th inning. And the Indians, we understand, are threatening in the 5th inning now with that 1-0 lead. Well, Dixon now will do the yard work to the mound. Paul O'Neill will be digging in. And this is a very dangerous hitter against the Angels in his career. O'Neill struck out his last at bat looking against Chuck Finley. O'Neill has been excellent this year with 18 home runs, 96 driven in. He's got Tino Martinez at second base, Mike Stanley at first base. A 9-minute delay as Dixon was warming up. And now his first pitch to Paul O'Neill, and O'Neill takes the ball on the outside. 1 ball, no strikes. I caught the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. You saw those numbers by Paul O'Neill against the Angels, a .367 batting average. He has more home runs against the Halos than any other ball club that he has faced. 2 balls and 1 strike. Collins off the line at third, a good 12-15 feet. Harry Collins watching this matchup with 2 on and 2 out. Dixon ready. And he brings the 2-1. And O'Neill fouls it off. O'Neill is one of those players you can say never gives in. He is a tough battler. He will hang in there on everything. And look what he has done with men in scoring position this year. And he has a man there in Tino Martinez.
Well, he's the type of guy that he's not going to give you any at-bats. He's going to get every at-bat when he goes up there for himself. He's not going to give it away.
Jim Salmon of the Angels, 3rd men in scoring position. Line drive, base hit, left field. Martinez will score in the play. Mike Stanley stopping at second base, and it is now 9-4. I think Terry Collins has seen enough comebacks in that Baltimore
Watch how he
series.
covers the plate. That ball is on the outside corner. This is one guy, when he's hitting, he covers every part of the plate.
And he has been hitting a lot since the All-Star break, raising that batting average now to .335. 97 driven in. Here's Charlie Hayes, and he takes a curveball on the inside corner, strike 1. Angels getting a tough break, losing Chuck Finley, their ace, here in the 3rd inning. After he fell backwards trying to brace himself on a play behind home plate. In the 2nd, a ball in the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. David Wells has had a long wait. And he has been knocked around by the Angels for 9 runs in just 2 innings after pitching brilliantly in his last 4 starts. Right there on the outside corner, 1 and 2.
You know, do you get a feeling that Charlie isn't very happy?
Breaking ball hit in the air, center field. Jim Edmonds racing back. He's there to make the catch, ending the inning. But New York scores a run on a 2-out base hit by Paul O'Neill. The Angels have a 5-run lead, though, going to the bottom of the 3rd. Thursday night, Ken Griffey Jr. and the American League West leading Seattle Mariners go up against the Indians in Fox Sports West presentation of Baseball Thursday. Live coverage begins at 7 o'clock. For the Anaheim Angels with a 9-4 lead over the New York Yankees, it is now Jason Dixon and David Wells. And after the first inning, who would have thought that Wells would last longer than Chuck Finley tonight? Finley started brilliantly, erasing the first 3 Yankees that he faced. And the Angels scored 7 runs on Wells in the first inning. But Finley was hurt, covering a play behind home plate, and removed from the game in the 3rd inning. He allowed 4 runs. Now Rickey Henderson will bat for the 3rd time, and we're just in the 3rd inning. He walked and singled in the 1st inning. Chicago now with the lead. Baltimore over Kansas City in the 1st game, but the Royals just bombing the Orioles in the 2nd. Detroit 8-2 on Minnesota, while Milwaukee taking Texas in the 8th. We're in a rain delay with Boston and Oakland. And Cleveland ahead of Seattle 1-0 in the 5th inning. The Dodgers win, but San Francisco also won. So San Francisco still with a lead in the National League West of 2 games. There's Florida's triumph over the Chicago Cubs. Cincinnati 6-5 on Colorado, and there's the Giants victory 9-5, holding that 2-game edge in the Dodgers, and St. Louis bombing Montreal 12-5. I wonder if Mark McGwire went deep. He had 34 home runs in the American League and has just started to get on a roll in the National League. Henderson pops it up, foul territory. Tino Martinez has just enough room.
David, just in case, David Justice just hit a grand slam, put Cleveland ahead 5-0.
How about that? David Justice, and Cleveland now has a 5-0 lead on Seattle in the 5th inning. And the Angels leading here by 5 runs. So again, with the Angels a game back, if they win, M's lose, the Angels would be tied with the Mariners for first place in the American League West. Here's Darren Erstad, doubled in the 1st inning. Singled his last at bat, drove in a run, his 60th this year. And he took a curveball down the right field line prior to that base hit. That was a bomb. I mean, he really sent it sailing. But it was foul.
I was talking to a guy the other night, Duke Snyder, who was a pretty good ball player. And I was saying, you know, Ron Fairley, but the more I think about it,
Duke Snyder.
Erstad reminds me of him a little more because of his front shoulder. Duke never took that front shoulder out of him.
There's one up the middle. Sanchez has it. Nice toss, a quick play, and 2 outs.
Duke never took that front shoulder. That front shoulder stayed there at all times. That's why he had great power out in left center. And I was telling him about Erstad, and he's seen Erstad quite a bit on TV, and he really likes him. He said he doesn't pull away. I said, you know, I watch him against the toughest guys, and that front shoulder never leaves him. And that's why you're not going to be able to stop this young man from being an outstanding hitter.
Here's Dave Hollins fouling it back. Strike 1. And you've said about Darren, all he needs is 1,000 at-bats. He's only 23.
There's time. Just let it. It'll pass, and there you'll be.
Hollins taking a curveball away. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's Darren, turned 23 in June. From Jamestown, North Dakota. Greatest player from that state, Roger Maris. Where will Darren be in 10, 15 years?
One thing about it, he'll win North Dakota's Athlete of the Year every year for a while.
He sure was there in every single sport, in track, in hockey, football, a little bit of everything. The 2-1 to Dave, and he hits one down the left field side, and that will twist and go foul. 2-2. Oh, family night here at Anaheim Stadium. She's talking with Dad. Now this is my ball, isn't it? He gave it to me. You can see the brother. He's asking for it.
to the girls.
Girls go first.
That's right. Always.
It's part of being a gentleman. Here is the 2-2 pitch. Dave Hollins is hit, and did he even try and get out of the way? Dave's the kind of guy who'll get on base any way possible. See, Dave Wells saying he shouldn't have gotten out of the way. Dave does stand on top of the plate. The pitch came up and in, and as you said, on 2-2, Dave likes to come with the fastball up and in.
He didn't even attempt.
He says, let's get that big old fish up at the plate. Hollins will go to first, and Tim Salmon will come to the plate. And Tim has been on twice. He singled, drove in his 99th run this year in the first inning, and walked and scored on Todd Green's 2-run homer in the second. And Dave has now been hit by 8 pitches this year. That leads the Angels. But the way he gets out of the way, he'll be hit by a few more.
He used to be a little second baseman in Montreal, played for Gene Mont, Ron Hunt.
Never got out of the way.
Well, he used to go across the plate trying to get hit.
He was hit by 50 pitches in one season, 1971. Salmon, high drive, left field, and the Angels put 2 more on the board. A bomb by Tim Salmon. He has gone over 100 RBIs with number 100 and 101.
I'm going to be very honest. I think when you say, did he get it? I think he got a little more than we even think he got. Watch this. This ball, he hit it right out in front. And this ball goes a mile.
Look at the guys in the bullpen. David Wells can't believe it. That ball went up into the seats that they're constructing now in deep left field. That ball went about 430 feet.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. It wasn't coming back.
I mean, when the guys in the bullpen, their heads were completely turned trying to find where the ball went. Now Garrett Anderson is the batter, and the Angels have their 7-run lead back at 11-4, as Wells has given up 2 home runs. For Tim Salmon, home run number 23, and he also leads the club in runs driven in with 101. Fouled off. Sparky, we got a fax from a young lady in Fontana, California, by the name of Trini, and she obviously has prosperity consciousness because her question is regarding the change of pitchers. She says, when the Angels win tonight, when, not if, when they win tonight, will Chuck Finley get the win or Jason Dixon? If Dixon goes through 5, he would get the victory. But I like her point of when the Angels win tonight, and Tim Salmon gave him a chance to do more with a 2-run home run, his 23rd this year. And it's the Halos 11, the Yankees 4. The Angels on Fox Sports West are brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low you have the freedom to go places. By Shell, moving at the speed of life. And by Gatorade, official sports beverage of Major League Baseball. Steve Physioc, Sparky Anderson with you at Anaheim Stadium. Tim Salmon just blasted his 23rd home run this year, and he has had a remarkable season already. A great month of July, where he was the American League Player of the Month. Chuck Finley was co-pitcher of the month along with Minnesota's Brad Radke. But Tim Salmon, when he was struggling in April, Sparky, you said just wait until the end. He'll bang out another 30-100 season.
Well, he's just too good of a player, Steve. When you're that good of a player, you don't worry about a guy starting out slow. My goodness. Usually the good ones do start out a little slow.
Well, you look at his numbers throughout his career. Slow in July, or slow in April, picks it up in May, heats up in June, July, August, gets better every single month. And Jason Dixon doing exactly what he wants to do, getting a early count out. Joe Girardi is the first out of the 4th inning, and there's Tim Salmon. There's the story. 282 in June, and the April number is just 260. September, well, that's when he will carry the Angels, I would imagine.
He's got a very good chance if he goes here on out hitting well to be the MVP.
But because of those slow starts, you know what that costs him? Getting in the All-Star game.
Yeah, but they should take him
Absolutely.
just off of his career.
Angels leading 11-4 here. We're in the 4th inning. Russ Davis has just hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 5th inning for Seattle. Cleveland holding on to a 3-run lead, 5-2 over the Mariners. Dixon was not ready to throw 2 balls and no strikes. Jason does not appear to have that same snap, that same zip on his fastball that he had earlier this season.
Well, you got to remember, this is the first time he's pitched a full season in the major leagues, too.
No question. And he has just missed a start, and he is coming out of the bullpen. But that last one at 80 miles an hour. And he misses high. 3 balls, no strikes to Ray Sanchez, the guy who did most of the damage against Chuck Finley in the 2nd inning by dropping a base hit to right center, but more importantly, helping knock Chuck out of the game because he braced himself when he fell behind home plate and apparently jammed his left wrist or hand, and he has since gone to the clubhouse. So Sanchez is on with a base on balls, the 4th walk issued by Angel pitchers in this game. And Dixon must now face Derek Jeter. You might remember Jason's first meeting with Derek Jeter. The very first pitch he ever threw in the major leagues was at Yankee Stadium. And Jeter hit Dixon's first pitch for a home run August 21st last year. But Dixon came back to win the game. Sanchez at first base. He has singled in 3 and he has walked. Angels by 7 in the 4th. Fastball comes inside, and now Todd Green wants to visit with Jason. Marcel Latchman told us on Saturday that Dixon really had a great workout between starts. When the Angels had pushed him back, they wanted his shoulder to respond well. But a lot of times it's a rhythm thing, feeling comfortable on the mound.
I've always been funny about those in-between workouts. There's nothing on the line. You're just there throwing. But when you got to face hitters, it's a totally different thing.
We're in the 4th. Jeter is grounded out twice. And Dixon loses him. Tried that sinking fastball and walks Jeter. Now he has walked the number 9 hitter Sanchez, the number 1 hitter Jeter. And Marcel Latchman will come out to settle down Jason Dixon. As the Angels with a 7-run lead right now, they just want their pitchers to throw strikes. There's Al Clark visiting with Yankees third base coach Willie Randolph as Marcel Latchman joins Todd Green and Jason Dixon on the mound. What might this conversation be about?
He's telling him, you know what, you got a 7-run lead. How can you walk people? There's nothing worse in the world than to walk people with a big lead because they didn't even have a chance to put them out. There's 2 people out there if they never had a chance to get out.
Miss Parker, you know what that is like. And we've seen it in the past. Guys get into that. We've all felt it. Where you get in a situation like, please, let's just throw strikes here. Get the ball over the plate. Big lead. And there's a strike right in there. There are times where you're in that zone, you're in that groove where you can throw the ball anywhere you want to, and then there are other times it is so difficult to get that finish on a pitch and throw it where you want to. That ball fouled out of play, and Dixon comes right back with 2 quick strikes to Chad Curtis after the visit with pitching coach Marcel Latchman.
You should never throw him a strike now for 2 pitches.
Breaking ball misses away. That was the change of speed. 1-2. Inning started innocently with the ground out by Girardi, but Sanchez and Jeter walking. 1 out. Fastball missing away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Let's see if Dixon comes back with that curve or change. Let up, hit in the air, left field, right at Garrett Anderson. 2 outs. So the Yankees return to their respective bases, but this is where the Angels have been challenged against New York tonight. The Yankees coming up with that 3-run single by Ray Sanchez in the second inning with 2 outs, and then in the third inning, the base hit by Paul O'Neill that gave them their 4th run with 2 outs. Angels, meantime, have planted 11 on the board with 10 hits, 2 home runs. 2-run blast by Todd Green, a 2-run shot by Tim Salmon. Now Bernie Williams steps to the plate, and he's 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts. And he pops it up. Gary DiSarcina makes the catch, so the visit from Latch really paid off. Dixon started throwing strikes, got the outs, and right now the Angels take an 11-4 lead to the bottom of the 4th. Anaheim with an 11-4 lead on the New York Yankees. Here we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. David Wells has been knocked from the game. Joe Madden, the bench coach, talking with Jason Dixon. They were together in the minor leagues, but Marcel Latchman came out for that visit, and all of a sudden Dixon started throwing strikes and got the next 2 outs, and now to that 4th inning. And now the New York Yankee pitcher will be Graham Lloyd, taking over for David Wells. Wells with a 1-1 record, a 3.4 earned run average, and he usually comes on just to face left-handers, but will be asked to do more here. 38 hits allowed in 31 2/3 innings. He was picked up from the Milwaukee Brewers last year in a late season trade along with Pat Listash. Both players were injured, and it really infuriated George Steinbrenner, but they had to hold on to the trade. Todd Green will lead things off against Graham Lloyd, and Todd Green came up with a man on in the second inning, and let's check out what he did.
Watch this ball. Right down Broadway, about belt high, and he did just what you're supposed to do. Crushed it.
Had a good sound to it. And Green has been on twice. A walk, the 2-run blast. The Angels also added the Salmon 2-run homer in the third inning. 9 home runs, 24 runs driven in just 33 games with the Angels. All those 9 home runs since his July 3rd call-up. And that is when the Angels went on this hot streak. Fastball in there, strike 1. Well, tomorrow night on Fox Sports West, the Angels will take on the New York Yankees in a 4:05 show at 7:35. Will be the second game of that doubleheader, and it will be Hideki Irabu going for the Yankees. Curveball by Graham Lloyd. And it's 0-2. There's Irabu, but right now the Angels with a question mark on who will go game 2. Game 1, we understand it's going to be Ken Hill against Dwight Gooden. But could the Angels go with Shigetoshi Hasegawa, making it an all Far East game? Todd Green with a base hit right field.
I tell you, Rod's really doing a good job with this kid. He's getting him to understand that there's another place out there on the field instead of just that left field part.
You know, he showed really good discipline yesterday in the Baltimore game, trying to get the base runner from second to third with nobody out. Fired one to right field, almost hit a home run, as a matter of fact, as the ball twisted foul at the last moment, and eventually fly it out to right field. But you could see him working on that. He knew what his responsibilities were.
Well, Rod's done an excellent job with him.
Now Jim Edmonds taking strike 1. Because last year, Sparky, you even said, you know what, he's got to learn to lay off that breaking ball that's away from him down. Seems like he has.
Well, he's learning, and he's just going to get better and better at it.
Edmonds takes another strike, 0-2. Jim 2 for 2 in the game, singled and doubled. He's driven in 2 runs, now at 64 runs driven in this year. Tony Perez had that philosophy of look outside, react inside.
Yeah, and the ball, he tried to down the middle to the other way, and then if you got the ball in, let his hands take care of that ball inside.
But you've got to have quick hands to do that. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and Green does. I mean, Green with really a quick bat.
He's a quick bat, and he's very strong on top of it. He's a little fire hose.
5'9". Got 190 pounds from Georgia Southern. Greatest home run hitters in the history of college baseball. Edmonds kind of bailing on that one. Fouls it off, 2 balls and 2 strikes. He was just trying to reach for that outside corner and get it out of play, giving himself another chance for Graham Lloyd to make a mistake. Jim can get one to drive. He chops it. And it will get Green to second base. Edmonds is the first out of the 4th inning. You can see why Graham Lloyd is so tough against left-handers.
Tough guys. He gives you all arms and legs. And
seems like everything is way down, slow fade. Here's Brett Graybeck. He is 0 for 2, a 6-4-3 double play, his first time up in the 1st inning. And grounded out to second base his last at bat. Fastball outside corner, strike 1. Sparky, we have a fax from Scott Biagiotti in Costa Mesa, California, and he asked the question. There was a trading deadline several weeks ago, yet the Angels acquired Ricky Henderson after the deadline. What was the meaning of the first trading deadline if trades can be made after it has passed?
well, the second after the first, then you have to be waived. It's no problem. Really, that deadline actually really doesn't mean anything. The only thing with the waiver thing, somebody could stop it if they wanted.
And they'd be more likely to stop it for a team like the Angels trying to make a trade because there are so many teams in front of them. I mean, the teams that are eligible to stop the trade have to have a record worse than you.
Well, but nowadays with the price tag on some of these players, the lower clubs aren't going to stop it because they don't want him.
And Henderson has been traded during the season twice previously, and he went to the eventual world champions both times. 1989 with the Oakland Athletics, and they beat San Francisco. 1993 with Toronto, and they beat Dave Holland's Philadelphia Phillies. Ground ball, second base, Ray Sanchez. He is sure-handed. He throws at Graybeck to third. Goes Todd Green. And New York was not crazy about their second baseman from last year defensively, Mariano Duncan. Pat Kelly much better defensively, but I don't think either one of those guys, Duncan or Kelly, have the hands that this kid Sanchez has.
Sanchez is about as good defensively as you want to see.
Lee Sarcina to Sanchez. He gobbles it up, throws out Gary, and after the leadoff single by Todd Green, the Angels go down in order, all on ground ball outs. We go to the fifth, 11-4 Anaheim. Monday night celebrate 15 years of great boxing at the Forum when Fox Sports West presents Fight Night at the Forum. The featured bout has Jesus Chong defending his WBO light flyweight title against former WBC 108-pound titleist Melchor Cobb Castro. The action starts at 8 o'clock. And we welcome you back to Anaheim Stadium, where the Angels lead 11-4, and Jason Dixon on the hill for this fifth inning of work. And since taking over for Chuck Finley, his third inning. And here we go with Tino Martinez to lead things off in the fifth. He has grounded out and walked. Tino with 39 home runs this year, second to Ken Griffey Jr., who has 40. And still, Cleveland has that 5-2 lead on the Seattle Mariners at the Kingdome in the first game of their series. Only one Yankee has hit 40 home runs since 1961, and that was Reggie Jackson in 1980. He hit 41 to win the American League home run title. And Sparky, when you consider the price tags that are being placed on ball players these days, when you consider that Tino Martinez signed a 5-year, $20 million deal, $4 million a year, that's rather cheap when you talk about the numbers that Tino has produced, and he's going for Reggie's marks.
Well, I think it's like a steal. You know, it's almost a bargain.
Foul off.
And the guy only makes $4 million. I don't know myself how they survive on it, really. I guess if you shop at the grocery store and your wife takes those coupons and cuts them out and all those things, you could possibly get by. I can't feel sorry for anybody making $4 million.
Well, you can see Reggie, a member of the New York Yankees and their management group, talking with the Angels general manager Bill Bavasi. And off to the upper right, it's Tim Mead. Martinez take the breaking ball. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Latino had a very slow April last year when he arrived, replacing the great Don Mattingly. And he only hit .208, and he said he was very anxious at the plate. He was swinging at pitches rather than the ones that he has a chance to drive. But once he got comfortable, and there were a lot of people in Seattle said, oh, Tino won't last in New York. He's too sensitive. Well, you talk about getting off to a difficult April and the fans getting on you. He just rebounded and showed an inner strength that New York had not seen possibly since the great Reggie, and he led them to that world championship. Inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Dixon has walked 2. Martinez fouls it off. And Tino likes the expectations of New York City. He says the expectations every year are to win it all. He said in Seattle for so many years when he was with them, the expectations were simply to get to 500. Not anymore for both those teams. And Tino takes a called strike 3 on the inside corner. He was headed to first base. John Hirschbeck rings him up, Sparky.
I really like the way Hirschbeck umpires. I always have.
In the alley, right center field, and this will drop up against the wall. Racing for second base, Mike Stanley, and he's on base for the 3rd time. A single walk and now a double.
This ball would be out of the way for him. See that ball? Right out of the way. He loves to extend his hands.
So Mike Stanley at second base with 1 out, and the batter will be Paul O'Neill. And Paul was the first batter that Dixon faced when he came on to replace Chuck Finley. And he really worked Dixon very well, fouling off several good pitches and finally lining one past the shortstop Gary DiSarcina for a hit. And now he sends a ground ball to Erstad, and O'Neill is the second out. Cleveland ahead of Seattle 5-2 in the 6th inning at the Kingdome. Here it is 11-4. The Angels with the lead. They have now gone to the 7th inning in Seattle as they've completed 6. It is Cleveland 5, Seattle 2. If the Angels can win and Mariners lose, we would again have a tie in the American League West. Here's Charlie Hayes, singled and flied out. Ground ball back to Dixon. This should do it. Jason's throw, Darren's catch, and the inning is over. We are through 4.5 here at Anaheim Stadium. It's the Angels 11, the Yankees 4. You're watching Anaheim Angels baseball on Fox Sports West. Anaheim with an 11-4 lead on the New York Yankees. We started the night with Chuck Finley going for his 11th straight victory in 11 straight starts. He was knocked out of the game when he was backing up a play behind home plate and fell hard on his left hand. We're not sure if the injury was to the hand or to the wrist, but regardless, Chuck is out of the game. Jason Dixon on, and he has pitched well since taking over for Chuck in the third. And in his last at bat in the third, he popped up to the first baseman. Graham Lloyd drops a strike in on Ricky. Henderson pops it foul again. He's quickly behind the count. No balls and 2 strikes. It'll be Ricky Henderson, Darren Erstad, and Dave Hollins coming to the plate here in the 5th inning, as the Angels scoring 7 runs in the first, 2 in the second, and 2 in the third. The Angels have hit 2 home runs, one by Todd Green, the other by Tim Salmon. Ooh, that hit Ricky. Well, 2 Angels have been hit in this game. Dave Hollins and now Ricky Henderson. He flips the bat away, but Graham Lloyd has allowed the Angels leadoff man to reach here in the 5th inning. That came in a dangerous location.
Yeah, but look at this pitch. That ball, he tried to get inside with him. He didn't in any way try to hit him. He just tried to get in.
So Ricky is on.
You ain't going to try to hit somebody 11-4.
He takes a strike. Let's see if Henderson wants to steal even with a 7-run lead. I know you gave me that look. Sparky, you're the best. And it don't cost a dime.
Right there, don't cost a dime to be nice and stay right where you're at.
You always said 5 runs. That's the limit. After that, you're embarrassing me.
When the grand slam won't catch you, you're in good shape.
Lloyd with the 0-2, and it is way outside, gets away, but Henderson stays put at first base. Angels had a very difficult road trip, losing 5 of 7 on the trip. 7 of their last 10 games after Baltimore took 2 of the last 3 here at Anaheim Stadium. But they have been such a resilient team this year, showing a great deal of toughness. Ability to come back from any misfortune. Well, Ricky goes. The curveball is right there, but the throw is not in time. So Henderson does have the stolen base and a surprising one at bat. He now has 1,218 steals in what has been a marvelous career. And again, you give me that look.
Well, it amazes me about fans. I hear them cheering and clapping.
Well, maybe that was Ricky's payback for the hit by a pitch up near his head. The count is 2-2 meantime on Darren Erstad. Erstad rips it to right, and that will find the corner. Henderson will score easily. Erstad has his second double, and the Angels take a 12-4 lead.
Erstad, to me, he's just coming so fast that it's amazing. I mean, he's playing against every type of left-hander. This guy's totally different than Wells. And yet, watch that shoulder. Look at it. It's right there, and then come those hands. I hate to keep saying it, but they've got something on their hands that's going to be something special.
Darren's at second base now, and the Angels with an 8-run lead, and Dave Hollins is the batter. And Erstad has been on a hot streak his last 2 games, 6 hits in his last 7 at bats. Included among that are a walk. Hollins has been on base twice, and he waves at this pitch. A changeup thrown by Graham Lloyd. Dave scoring a couple of runs. 7 different Angels have scored runs. 6 have runs driven in, including that man, Darren Erstad, with 2 now. Still nobody out in the 5th inning. Hollins goes out to the curve. Erstad has to stay at second base, and Hollins is out by a step and a half. That takes us now to Tim Salmon, who came to the plate. His last at bat in the 3rd inning, and he got one that hung over the plate. And watch the eye, Spark.
Yeah, but watch how he extended it. He hit this ball as good as you can hit it.
That is about 6 rows up in the seats, deep seats in left field. The telling is up. It went at least 425 feet, the tail of the tape. Breaking ball stays down from Graham Lloyd.
Girardi is a very fine receiver.
You know, when they traded Mike Stanley to Boston, New York press really criticized him acquiring Joe Girardi until he really helped out a pitching staff last year. There's a chopper back to Graham Lloyd. Lloyd looks at third, goes to first. Salmon is out for the 2nd out. But Sparky, Joe Madden, who's the bench coach for the Angels, he writes down on every single lineup card a thought for the day, some inspirational message for the team. And when the team had gone through a couple of tough losses, he wrote a message down that says a lot about this year's club. And here's the thought: what lies behind us and what lies ahead of us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. And I think that has a lot to do with the Angels, because when you compare this baseball team with the Seattle Mariners, individual by individual, you might say, well, the M's have a big edge. But it has been a team. It's been that clubhouse. It's been a great deal of leadership.
We'll do this. I'm going to give you Buhner or Salmon.
Even. I think Tim is a great player. Buhner's a great player as well with 40 home runs.
Buhner hit 220. 220 hitter. This guy's a 300 hitter. This guy's knocking in 100 runs. There ain't no question in my mind. And I'll tell you what, if you have 27 other ones out there and you give them a shot at it, they're grabbing Salmon. The Griffey you've got to take.
Yeah.
Period. The other spot goes to
Garrett Anderson.
To the Angels. That's 2 out of 3 right there. Third base.
On yours.
Yeah,
I said Buhner.
I'll take Hollins for mine.
I would too.
Shortstop. I've got to take Rodriguez because he's just a baby, and my Lord, he's going to do a lot of things.
Well, we will come back and finish off this conversation, Sparky, as the Angels score another on Darren Erstad's double. The Angels on Fox Sports West are brought to you by Discover Card, who on behalf of the Anaheim Angels is happy to make a donation of $500 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation for every Grand Slam. Steve Physioc, Sparky Anderson with you at Anaheim Stadium as the Angels with an 8-run lead on the world champion New York Yankees. And Sparky and I were having a conversation comparing individuals on Seattle and Anaheim, and you had gotten to shortstop and you had taken Rodriguez with just an edge over Gary DiSarcina, now at second base, and Luis Alicea and Joey Cora.
Well, I'll tell you what now. Cora's hitting, I know, but Cora can't make a double play. I would go with Cora for all around.
But to lead things off here in the 6th inning for New York, Joe Girardi, their number 8 hitter, and then they'll go to Ray Sanchez. Both these guys have been a pain in the Angels side tonight, reaching base 3 of their 4 times. Girardi takes it outside and low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'm going with Erstad at first.
That's a close one. Very, very close. Sorrento is better defensively right now, and Sorrento has more power with 25 home runs.
I'm going with Erstad.
Okay.
So I've got 4. I've got Hollins, Erstad, and 2 outfielders. There's only 8 out there.
You've got 2 outfielders. I've got them even in right field. I mean, Buhner hit 40 home runs 2 years ago, drove in 121. Last year hit 44 and drove in 138. He's got to be a little more even than that.
I'm going to give you him.
And your catcher, Dan Wilson, and Todd Green.
2 years from now.
There you go. I'm saying
comparison.
right now. I think 2 years from now,
There's no
the Angels
comparison.
will be a better ball club. As they're growing up.
Pitching is no comparison. Because they ain't got none over there but one big horse.
And Jeff Becerra's not bad.
He hasn't been pitching very well.
Fouled off. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
You look at his stats. He hasn't pitched well. You won't find him in any of your stats. he ain't made it yet. You catch him in the Sunday paper.
Right field, Tim Salmon. 1 out.
He's one you catch in the Sunday paper where they list everybody.
And the Angels with a real quality number 3 starter, and Alan Watson, after you go Chuck Finley, number 1, Jason Dixon, number 2, Alan Watson. And the emergence of Dennis Springer has been flat amazing ever since he made that start with Cleveland. But Watson has just been quality every 4th or 5th day. Deserved to win that game on Sunday. The Angels just could not hold on to a 3-1 lead that Watson had given them, and then a 4-3 advantage for the home run by Palmeiro. And Seattle has, even though they gave up so much, I thought their trade of Jose Cruz Jr. was rather foolish when they only got Mike Timlin and Paul Spoljaric. But they did come up with 3 pretty good arms for that bullpen, along with Slocum. Now, do they have enough? We shall see. But what I think is that intangible, that ingredient that goes into the clubhouse. And it's something that Gary DeSarcina and I were talking about yesterday, the toughness of the ball club, what they learned from 1995 and 1996, and the experience that they grew from. The toughness of this guy has been unbelievable. Non-stop hustle by Dave Hollins. Well, Jason Dixon walks Ray Sanchez. That is the 3rd walk by Dixon in tonight's ball game. We will see a pinch hitter come on for Derek Jeter and Homer Bush, an acquisition in the Hideki Irabu deal with the San Diego Padres, a fine, young-looking second baseman. He likely will move Ray Sanchez to short, and Bush will move into the lineup. But there's Homer this year at Columbus. That is a great name, Homer Bush. It'll be for a guy like Crash Davis, you know, the all-time home run leader in the minor leagues. Homer and the Bush leagues. Pulls the Sox up high. How about Jamie Moyer? I know you like Jamie Moyer.
I like Jamie. Jamie has pitched extremely well for them.
And they've gone with a 5-man rotation with Omar Olivares, and they've also thrown in Ken Cloud, the rookie, Felipe Lira, who you had at Detroit. And you roll your eyes at me once again. I'm just saying they have veteran pitchers who pitch in the major leagues, and they go pretty good 1-2-3 to start with. Bush trying to loop one to right, but it goes in foul territory, and Darren Erstad takes care of it for the 2nd out. When we walked into the dugout today, and we always meet with the skipper Terry Collins, and we'll talk about the recent experiences with the Baltimore Orioles. 3 very difficult, emotional losses. Yet I get on the plane with the ball club yesterday, Sparky, and they have the ability to say, well, that was it. we're going to move on from here. They're not looking at 3 tough losses where they had a chance to move past Seattle. They look at it like we're still within striking distance, only 1 game back of Seattle. Forget about yesterday. Let's move on. And that's the within part that you're impressed with this ball club.
Well, that's true. But even the last place ball clubs do that. They say, let's move on to the next spot because...
Yeah, but they'll get in a losing streak and they'll keep on losing. The Angels, I'll bet
but see, the
10,
last
12
place
times.
clubs, what you don't understand. They said, let's go to the next spot. We'll see how bad they'll hammer us.
What's the difference between the attitude of this year's team and last year?
What is the difference? Winning. Winning does it all.
What has stopped the losing streaks this year that did not stop them last year?
This guy's one of the reasons right here.
Jason Dixon.
Yeah. Finley. It's the other reason. See, there's always reasons.
Sure.
Players make the game. And when players are playing well, you're going to do well.
Curtis to right field, and that will go up against the fence. Salmon quickly brings it in. Randolph will hold the runner at third base. Ray Sanchez to second. Goes Chad Curtis. So a 2-out double by Chad. That will bring to the plate Bernie Williams.
But see, the losing clubs, they want to move on. Watch this pitch. You'll see this pitch. See where that ball was? That ball was lower. Losing clubs like to move on to the next spot to see how badly they can get hammered there, see? There's always a reason for moving on. You got to have a reason, you know.
Tim Raines pinch hitting for Bernie Williams. Been crippled by so many injuries this year. That might be the one Achilles heel that New York has this year. They don't have great speed. Good speed. But still, they have a record of 73 and 49. Well, what do you think has been? You were talking about Finley. You're talking about Dixon. Ground ball second base. We'll come back to finish that as Dixon once again gets out of a jam here in the 6th inning. It's the Angels 12, the Yankees 4. The Angels on Fox Sports West are brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low you have the freedom to go places. By MCI. Is this a great time or what? And by your Southern California Chevrolet Geo dealers. Well, New York with a myriad of changes as Todd Green steps to the plate. New York going with a new shortstop, moving Ray Sanchez from second to short. Homer Bush takes over in second base. Tim Raines moves to left field, moving Chad Curtis to center field. And the new catcher is George Posada. Todd Green has had a very good game. He has been on base all 3 times, a walk, a 2-run home run, and a single. And he pops it foul, out of play, strike 1. There's Jim Edmonds getting ready. He is on deck, the number 7 hitter in this game, and Jim has gone 2 for 3. Green fouls it back out of play. But Sparky, we were talking about that certain toughness, that growth that certainly Anaheim has displayed this year. Only 70 wins last year. They can win their 69th tonight. And we are in late August.
Yeah, but there's nobody even close to what Detroit's doing when you look at them. Let me show you something.
But Detroit still is not contending, and which I think is easier. And Tony La Russa and I have talked about this.
Wait a minute, though. They were 50-some games under last year. And I'll bet you before this year is over, they're going to end up 500. Now imagine that. You talk about a turnaround. That's unheard of. Today you can do it more than any other time. Look at club rosters. Just sit down and look at their rosters and then count how many of them you say are truly bona fide major league players on every club. And then you find out how and why you can do things today. It don't take much.
Breaking ball bends back in. Edmonds was bending away. The count now no balls and 2 strikes.
Hollins, he wasn't here last year. You take a Hollins, Kid Holtz, take him. Take Dixon.
Luis Alicea has been a big plus this
Look
year.
what that does and how that turns things around.
Back-to-back strikeouts by Graham Lloyd of Todd Green and now Jim Edmonds.
See, what we have to remember today is so different than when you had 16 teams. You had 28 teams. So you actually have 12, and you're going to have 14 times 25 that were in AAA. Just think of that. That's hard to imagine that you have that many players. I said, so over 300 players that would be in AAA
And that is
are
why
in the Major League and Major League uniform.
And that is why your minor league system is so important now. You can bring particularly the young pitching up.
Well, I'll tell you what, the worst thing for me was to go look at a AAA club and to realize, I said, my God, has AAA baseball become this? So this isn't as good as Class A ball when I played in Class A ball. And this, what's happened is you can't supply that many teams with quality players. Now, it's impossible. I'm sure this kid Bush, for instance, I'm sure he's going to be a good baseball player. I know nothing about him. But you don't think when they had 16 teams, that kid would be up on the New York Yankees. Take a look at those rosters the Yankees were throwing at you.
And it was also a time where the Yankees had how many minor league teams? 26, 28.
And quality there.
Ground ball, first base. Tino says he has it, and he does in a very easy 6th inning for Graham Lloyd. We go to the 7th. It's all Angels, 12-4 on New York. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the Anaheim Angels and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Anaheim Angels is prohibited. So the Angels with a 12-4 lead. Chuck Finley started the game after his 11th straight win in 11 straight starts, but he sprained his left wrist. He will be re-examined tomorrow by Dr. Louis Joachim, and Chuck only threw 2 2/3 innings of work. He's trying to post a victory, his 11th straight. But right now, we just hope that Chuck will be ready to go 3 or 4 days from now. Here's Tino Martinez hitting a ground ball to the second baseman, Craig Drabek, and that's what Jason Dixon would like to see. Those very early count outs. Alex Rodriguez has just hit a solo home run in the 8th inning for the Seattle Mariners. Cleveland holding on to a 6-3 lead at the Kingdome, and here it is 12-4 Anaheim. Angels trying to tie the Mariners for first place in the American League West. Here is Mike Stanley. It's that breaking ball in the inside corner. There was one thing that you have been talking about all year long, and we have not brought up in this discussion of Seattle versus Anaheim, and that is the leadership, the aggressiveness that has been brought to the club by Terry Collins, and I know you have praised his efforts all year long.
Well, there's no question. That has made a tremendous change. But as far as the 2 ball clubs, I just feel this club here can beat that club. I really feel it.
Jason Dixon trying to throw that changeup and misses. 2 balls and 1 strike.
I was on the Seattle station this morning and they called me and asked me about the thing, and I said, you people better beware because of one thing. This club here can win. And I said, Lou, and Terry both have done such a great job. It's unbelievable. And Lou is Houdini with that pitching staff.
Misses low. 3 balls and 1 strike to Mike Stanley. 1 out. We're in the 7th inning. The Angels lead by 4. Jason Dixon gunning for his 12th win this season against just 4 defeats. That comes inside and Dixon misses. Jason's control has not been as sharp as we have normally seen. Let's see now. 1, 2, 3, 4 walks for Dixon. They still have not scored a run off Jason in 3 2/3 innings of work since taking over for Chuck Findlay in that 3rd inning. Now Paul O'Neill comes to the plate. O'Neill 1 for 3. Single with a run driven in. Dixon comes back with an 87-mile-an-hour fastball right on the inside corner.
87 was fine. He was throwing some fastballs that weren't near that.
82, 83. O'Neill 3rd in the American League in batting at .332. Frank Thomas of Chicago at .345. And David Justice hit a home run for Cleveland tonight. Breaking ball stays down. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dixon came into this evening's game replacing Chuck Findlay with a record of 11-5 and earned run average that was at 4. They have now gone to the top of the 9th inning in Seattle, and Cleveland still leading 6-3. John Smiley trying for that victory. Ground ball short. Desar to second, 1, and he'll complete the double play. Nicely done. We go to the bottom of the 7th, and the Angels holding on to a 12-4 lead over New York. The Angels on Fox Sports West are brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealer. Buy or lease a 97 Toyota today. And by Union 76 Lubricant, 76 Motor Oil, NASCAR's winningest motor oil. The Angels with a 12-4 lead on the New York Yankees in the first of this 4-game series here at the Big A. A doubleheader tomorrow and a single game on Thursday. But tomorrow night at 7:35, Hideki Irabu will be throwing for New York. And the Angels with Jason Dixon scheduled to go in that second game of the doubleheader, obviously will turn away as Jason pitching tonight. And they have not announced who they will start in the second game of that doubleheader. If it's out of the pen, it could be a Darrell May or it could be a Shigetoshi Hasegawa. Would make an interesting matchup against Hideki Irabu. And Hasegawa and Irabu were pitchers, of course, in Japan. Both pitched in Japan's Pacific League, so they know each other well. We're out talking in the outfield before the game while the Angels and New York Yankees were taking their outfield practice and batting practice. They have undoubtedly faced each other many times in the past, but we'll see. Angels start here in the bottom of the 7th inning with Gary DiSarcina, Ricky Henderson, and Darren Erstad. Fastball from Graham Lloyd, ball 1. Andy Pettitte will go against the Anaheim Angels on Thursday against Alan Watson. DiSarcina trying to dump one to right field. Homer Bush is out and makes the play. So Gary 1 for 4, and we head back to the top of the lineup, and Ricky Henderson. See Wade Boggs warming up in the bullpen, just in case. I wonder if he told Joe Torre, I go. Well, this really would be amazing if Wade went out there and threw some for the Yanks, because they can't send Lloyd much further. Think Joe's thinking about it?
Well, I don't know.
He knows he's got that doubleheader tomorrow.
You know something, 26 years I managed. I never did that.
You never threw an everyday player out there. Henderson taking a strike away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Why not, Spark?
Okay, he's out there. He's not used to throwing the ball from 60 feet 6 inches and reacting. And to me, I would never take a chance that he would be hit someone.
We all remember this rookie Henderson with the ground ball. Charlie Hayes. Henderson is out. We all remember Jose Canseco when he was sent out there by Kevin Kennedy with the Boston Red Sox, and Canseco blew out his elbow and was lost for a couple of months.
Yeah, I just never would do it. I don't see there's anything wrong with it.
A knuckleball.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
He's got some pretty good bend with his breaking ball.
Might have better stuff than some of the other ones.
Now Darren Erstad, he has had an excellent evening with a single, a pair of doubles, driving in 2 runs. He now has 61 RBIs this year, and he has raised his average to .308. Fastball misses. Well, that's not really a fastball. It took something off. At 80 miles an hour, Lloyd usually gets it up there between 87, 88 miles an hour. Curveball just misses inside 2-1. It's interesting. We got this kid 23, and he's been fighting around the 290, 300 marks all year long. Garrett Anderson, Tim Salmon and the team, Jim Edmonds, they've been over 300. They've been way up there. Now Erstad's got the highest average on the team at 308. Anderson is at 306.
But they're all right there. Which, they're getting a lot of production.
Homer Bush takes care of Erstad. And that will do it for the Angels in the 7th. They have a 12-4 lead on New York, though. And following the game on Fox Sports News, you can watch the NFL Cut Day, and there were some surprises on this day. The Los Angeles Dodgers, New York Mets, a great matchup there, and the U.S. Open top seeds. Steve Physioc, Sparky Anderson back with you at Anaheim Stadium, where the Angels will go in the 8th inning with an 8-run lead, 12-4. Orlando Palmeiro replaces Jim Edmonds in center field. And the Angels also giving a little rest to Dave Hollins as Luis Alicea comes in to play second base, and that moves their second baseman Craig Graybeck to third base. There's Craig. The Angels with a comfortable 8-run lead, as New York has been making some changes as well, because these two teams will meet in a doubleheader tomorrow. So they'll need everyone. There's a foul back towards us. Strike 1. Dixon in line to gain this victory. He has gone 4 1/3 innings of work. He has not allowed a run after Chuck Finley started the game in search of his 11th straight victory. This would be the 12th win this year for Jason. The Angels' rookie record is 14. Dixon, such an important part of the Angels' future. I mean, he has 3 quality pitches: fastball, curve, and changeup, and he's only 24 years of age. Ken McBride, Mark Clear made the All-Star team as rookies with the Angels. Here's a kid, Jason Dixon, making the All-Star team in his rookie season. Enjoyed that experience greatly. But still, even though we saw him and he is wise beyond his years, the kid knows how to pitch, he's still a rookie. He's still learning, going through some real challenges here in August and late July. Fly ball left field, and Garrett Anderson takes care of it for the first out of the 8th inning.
Well, I don't care who you are. Your first full season in the major leagues, come the middle of August, you're a tired young man. It's a tough struggle. Spring training 6 weeks, and then you have to get with it. And it's hard. Mentally, it's hard.
I was going to ask you that. You talk about the physical exhaustion, but for a rookie, you have to learn about that. The mental exhaustion, being on the road,
I think the mental exhaustion is the thing that's the big problem. I don't think physically. You're a young man. You're going to be strong and healthy, and you're in condition. But the mental part is going to beat you to death.
There's Jorge Posada. Jorge waves at that changeup. 0-2. Well, the Angels do have some very fine pitchers down in Double-A. Kids by the name of Jared Washburn, who likely will be protected in the 50-man protection list. And we have the expansion draft this offseason. Scott Schoenweiss, another talented left-hander, will not have to be because he's only in his second major league season and out of the college ranks. Also have Mike Bove, who's done a nice job. He has been promoted to AAA Vancouver. Ground ball, Erstad gobbles it up, underhands Jason Dixon, and 2 quick outs. But do you think the club needs to really improve their pitching to be one of the supreme contenders in 1998 when they opened the new ballpark?
I think they have to improve their pitching, but it has to be done from within. All these guys that you're talking about, at least 2 of them guys have to be able to pitch here. Because if you're going to go out and start buying them, you might as well throw it all right in the wastebasket. You're done. It has to be done within.
Well, how about the New York Yankees? They went out and purchased David Cohn. He helped them to a world championship last year.
Well, they got to pay what, about 63 to 65 million. If that's, if that's the route you want to go, that's fine and dandy. I wouldn't want to go that route myself. I'd rather pour $3, $4, $5 million into my farm system and keep developing than to pour in 20 million for 4 years to a pitcher that I don't know whether his arms are going to hold up or not.
Ground ball, second base, Luis Alicea. And Jason Dixon continues to pitch well, and we will see a new pitcher for New York, and it looks to be a future Hall of Fame third baseman, Wade Boggs. Stay with us. You'll see history at the Big A. Well, Joe Torre has something to smile about now. He is down 8 runs, 12-4, and a gentleman who is headed for the Hall of Fame, the great Wade Boggs, a former Boston and New York third baseman, will make his major league debut as a pitcher. 2,776 career hits. He's hit 314 times in 15 seasons, and now he will face a major league team as a pitcher. And when we watched him warm up in the bullpen, he was throwing a pretty good knuckleball, and there it is. Strike 1 to Luis Alicea. This is amazing. Last year, Joe Torre sent Mike Aldrete out, and he pitched a scoreless inning for the Yanks last year. Alicea fouls it off. Dixon smiling, but the guys who will not be smiling, maybe Mel Stottlemyre will be, are the guys going to the plate. Like Alicea. Well, that missed a little bit wide.
If Bench asked me once, you can ask him. He asked me 1,000 times. Let me just pitch to 1 out.
And you didn't let him.
I said, you'll never live long enough.
Knuckleball stays high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. But you had a reason. And it's a rather important reason. Let's see what happens after this at-bat. Alicea pops it up. Posada. Nope. What was your reason? Never?
Well, no, a regular player's never thrown the ball from 60 feet 6 inches from that mound. Now, when he throws that ball, he's not used to that ball coming back through there. That's why they put up a screen for infielders to throw batting practice. Because your reactions, and you can get hurt bad.
Knuckleball misses away. 3-2. He has not thrown 1 curveball. We saw him mainly throw fastballs, curves, and knuckleballs in the bullpen warming up. Oh, he tried to go at the heater, and he blew it in there at 73 miles an hour, but high. So Alicea walks. Now it's going to get a little more difficult. He's going to throw that knuckleball in there against a guy who likes to hit the straight ones, Tim Salmon, but this will be the real challenge. and Salmon fouls it off, strike one.
Martinez is playing way behind Alicea.
They're giving him second base, and I don't think Luis is going to take it.
Why not?
Oh, you're talking about embarrassment. They called that a strike? Yes, they did. So Tim Salmon's behind, 0-2. Tim's got a smile on his face. He's laughing, but he doesn't like this at all. I don't want to hear from Wade Boggs in the offseason is what Tim might be thinking. And he sends one to the shortstop. They've got one on to first, and not in time as Salmon beats it out. But Wade Boggs has recorded his first out as a major league pitcher.
Tell you what, he's got a pretty good knuckleball now. Don't think that ball isn't knuckling.
It is floating from the top of the eyes all the way down to the knees on that pitch home. Knuckleball, Garrett Anderson. Ball one.
He's got a good knuckleball.
Well, did you see the way Posada went after trying to catch it? He is the best hitting Yankees pitcher since Babe Ruth. Ground ball. Boggs can't get it. Picking it off Bush, and they get Anderson by a step. Hey, Boggs may start tomorrow. Only problem with Boggs is he can't play defense.
That's right. See the difference of reacting? You do. You have no reactions like you have.
Well, this is one of those that he will put in the memory book. Pitching against the Anaheim Angels in a hot August evening, and Todd Green really pulling off that knuckleball, strike one.
He's got a good knuckleball.
Yeah.
His knuckleball is very similar to Springer. It's not much different.
Foul back, strike two. It's all over in Seattle. Cleveland has won that game 7-5 over the Mariners. So if the Angels hold on, win this game, will be tied again for first place in the American League West. Wade Boggs with the count 0-2. And that is Rick Fowle. No, Stottlemyre, I think he'll talk to him in between innings like, you know, if you learn to change speeds in the knuckleball, you've got about 10 more years. No one outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Salmon at second base. He reached on the fielder's choice. Went to second on the ground ball by Garrett Anderson. And he struck him out. How about that? Wade Boggs, who is headed to the Hall of Fame as a hitter, strikes out Todd Green as a pitcher, and off with the count. A big congratulations to Wade Boggs in his Major League pitching debut. The Anaheim Angels with a 12-4 lead on the New York Yankees in the top of the 9th inning. Wade Boggs telling everybody this is how you throw the knuckleball. And he strikes out Todd Green to end the 8th inning. What do you think of his fundamentals, his technique?
Does everything good. He really does.
You got a curtain call here. Look at that, 2,776 Major League hits. He probably pleaded with Joe Torre to let him go out there as a pitcher. And Graybeck throws out Homer Bush to start the 9th inning. 1 down, and the Angels are 2 outs away from moving into a first-place tie in the American League West with the Seattle Mariners. Seattle lost 7-5 to the Cleveland Indians, and the Angels are winning 12-4. We have to say once again, this team showing a great deal of resiliency. 3 tough losses to the Baltimore Orioles, all by 1 run. And they get in an airplay. They arrive in LAX at 4:30 in the morning. Ground ball hit to Alicea. 2 outs. And by the time they hit the sacks, it's 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And Sparky, they have come back and are 1 out away from a triumph, and we want to remind you that Fox Sports News is coming your way right after this evening's ball game. Now Jason Dixon facing Tim Raines. Raines grounded out his first time up to the second baseman at that time, Craig Graybeck. Raines slams it into center field for a base hit. Tim, who had 3 hits in the New York Yankees' last triumph on Sunday, singles in his second at bat in this game with 2 outs in the 9th inning. Our next telecast on Fox Sports West will be tomorrow at 7 o'clock. We'll either have Angels in the infield with Bill McDonald, or you'll get bonus coverage, because if the Yankees-Angels game is going on at 7 o'clock, we will carry the game, the end of that first game. Then we'll have our Angels in the infield show and bring you the second contest. So Bill McDonald will be with us at 7 o'clock regardless. Curveball right on the inside corner. Jason Dixon has thrown, 5 and 6 shutout innings in this game. He's pitched well. Pino fights it off. A chopper that glances off the glove. Alicea picks it up, and the game is over. The Angels triumph 12-4. Jason Dixon wins his 12th game this year, and Wade Boggs, we see history. As a guy with close to 3,000 hits comes out to pitch a shutout 8th inning. Once again, the final score 12-4 Anaheim. Now stay tuned. Fox Sports News is coming up next with coverage of today's stories in sports and the latest scores and highlights.